Hi everyone, it's Killshot from 99 Gaming. This is The Walking Dead, Season 9, Episode 7, Early Predictions. Warning, this will have a little bit of spoiler chat that's out there. I know some of our super chatters will get some of those comments. I've seen them already. And Scott kind of alluded to a little bit of this, talking about the second half. We are going to talk about some future semi-spoilers. There are things that are being reported that are not 100% yet, but it will help shape the storyline. So I just want to say, what's up to everybody here on this Saturday evening, sorry. I lost a little track of time. There was an event last night. It was a lot of fun, but that's why this is an hour later. But still wanted it to be earlier in the day so we could get all of our international audience involved. And I see some people already early on, lively conversation. So thank you so much. We are going to talk about some of the comments on some of our videos as well. That's always good stuff whenever I get a chance to go back and read and interact and see some of your ideas and some of your theories. And then there are some, once again, you guys know, I don't watch them, but they show up in my feed, and I see them in the thumbnails. But there's some other, I guess, predictions that are out there. Jesus and Aaron, I think we made that a long, long time ago, though, didn't we? Didn't we talk about, actually, I thought it would happen in episode number 1. I don't know if you guys remember from way, way back, I thought they would just fast forward to time skip, and then we would see Jesus and Aaron living together. We talked about that probably a year ago, but now it does look like instead of living together, they are spending a lot of time together. So it's possible. We know they're training, so we got that going on. So this early reaction video is going to be a combination of things. It's going to get some of our international audience involved, so I can call on some individual people, get your thoughts included. Moderators, as always, are going to be interacting with everybody, and you guys know how we do it. So let's get into it. And I think we got a birthday. So happy birthday to Brian. So very nice, Brian 9554 Sonic. Happy birthday, man. Hopefully, and I love it when you guys spend your birthday with us. That's awesome. That's flattering. I mean, you could be out anywhere, but yet you're hanging out with the 999 Army. So appreciate that, and hopefully you have a wonderful day. Let's jump into it. We got a super chat from Scott. It says, remember when spoiling Dead said Rick got bit in 8th. Yeah, I mean, look, they are really, really accurate, I guess. Not everything happens the way, but I mean, as far as spoiler information, I give them a lot of credit because they try to get stuff out there as early as possible. And some of the stuff that we're going to talk about today are things that they heard, so it may turn into spoiler information, but it does kind of make sense with how it's going down right now. So one of the questions one of the comments that came up, and once again, this was probably discussed here first, so thank you. I asked everybody the question a few weeks back or a couple weeks back and said, what is the relevance of Daryl's dog? And some people are like, it's just a pal. It's just somebody that's out there. But then we did see a comment. This was not my comment, but it came up in one of the videos that we did. And a person speculated and said that Daryl's dog, the importance will be he'll be able to tell the difference between the walkers and the whisperers, which could be a tide-turning moment in the Whisperer War. And I love that. I think that is phenomenal. It's right there, and I know a bunch of people are going to say, that was me, that was me, that was me. Everybody will take credit for it but only one person said it first. So let's, we might have all had the exact same thought. I will say I was not the person that said that first, but I did ask the question because I knew that, I know some people said, well, it's because Norman Reedus wanted it for a long time, and they kind of gave him what he wanted. So yes, that's part of it as well. But there is a bigger meaning, and the irony that the war could be turned on maybe little Judy and maybe the dog. So you got a kid that could be very impactful in it, and also, man's best friend. So it does. It makes a lot of sense. Another big thing that we've got to notice is it odd to anyone? It's odd to me, and I'll tell you why I think this happens. It'll be a big plot, so there will be some. These are not confirmed spoilers, okay? So take it for what it's worth, but it makes sense. So Does anyone think it's weird that Michonne is leading Magna's group and Michonne is not in Alexandria in case something were to happen in Alexandria? Anyone think that that's a little bit convenient? You've got Carol away from Ezekiel, and you got Michonne, who's the head of security. Now, look, there's going to be some good action. We know that. But the last time they didn't defend Alexandria, we saw what happened. Rick was out of there. Daryl was out of there. And then they got attacked, and they got put on their heels. So I think that is central to the storyline. And I'll tell you why. I got a feeling that someone is going to get kidnapped. Now, it could be Judith. It really could be Judith. Or it could be RJ, right? Or it could be Judith and RJ. Because now I have to give you the spoiler information. Because what Spoiling Dead reported a couple months back, and they didn't confirm it yet, they just threw it out there for us to think about, is that Michonne will kidnap Lydia in episode 11. So that could be a little bit of the difference. And we've been kind of in that comic mode, like, yeah, you know, maybe Henry will meet Lydia. And they will. But they had kind of put it out there. Well, that's Kimberly G. That's what I'm kind of alluding to. And the question that I want to ask each of you, why would Michonne kidnap Lydia? Leave your thoughts. I want to call on a few people here. So, if Michonne would not just go out there. Uncle Creepy says Michonne hoarding kids. You know what? Two's not enough. Michonne's out there. She's out there looking to build a family. So Derek Dixon says because Judith is kidnapped. So that's kind of our speculation and making it make sense to the spoiler. Now, no one has kind of, I guess, predicted that yet. And look, exactly, Thomas, and that's what I think, a trade chip. The only way that we're going to get ours back is something that has meaning. Now, I'm not saying it's RJ. I'm not saying it's Judith. I'm not saying it's RJ and Judith. But if it were Eugene, the reason why I think it is a child is because usually when adults get kidnapped, I don't think Michonne is going to take someone's child. I think it's going to have to be an eye for an eye. I really think something's going to have to push Michonne to do that. If it's an adult, it'd probably be like, okay, you know what? You got one of ours captured. We're just going to kill a bunch of yours. So I think there has to be an importance to that. So I do want it documented that as of Saturday, November 17th, 1:09 p.m., the 999 Army is going to say that Michonne being out is going to lead to someone in Alexandria being kidnapped and ultimately lead to the Spoiling Dead's fan page being correct that Michonne does kidnap Lydia. They haven't given us a reason for why Michonne kidnaps Lydia, so what I'm trying to do is build on their spoiler. So, could be Baby Grace, but if it is going to be Michonne, Denise Hopkins, I think it's going to be her family. Now, there are other things that could very well spark that. There could be some deaths that happen. But I think there's going to be some deaths and some kidnapping, and that's what's going to kind of... I don't think Jesus dying or Jesus' head on a pike, if that happens in 9, I don't think that's going to make Michonne kidnap Lydia. I think that will make them kill some of the Whisperers. But you start taking people's kids, then the only thing they understand is taking their kids right back. Would you agree? And if you don't, just because I say would you agree, you don't have to agree. Not trying to force that theory or that opinion on anyone. Zach Hicks says Negan will for sure end up playing a hero to Judith and RJ. Zach, I think that is an excellent point, and that leads me to my next point. Michonne might do the kidnapping. Negan might do the killing. Who is the most important person in Negan's life right now? Don't say Negan, because I think he's changed. I think there will be a passionate scene between Negan and, hang on, maybe that's not the right word I'm looking for. Anyway, between Negan and Michonne, to where he's like, let me out of here so I can make it right. And I think she's going to be so angry and so vengeful, she's going to give him a shot. So, question I have for the viewers. If your child was kidnapped, that's a bad example. If someone close to you was missing and you were on the show, not in real life, because I don't want to lessen when this happens in real life. So, but if something like that happened to you and you were that angry and vengeful, and it was a war going on, not in today's day and age. So let me backtrack from that. I really, really don't want to seem insensitive because it's a real issue. Would you, if you were Michonne, give Negan a chance? If you were in Michonne's character. Someone took your baby, and you want them to pay. Jimmy's Jammin' says, I would love to see it go down that way. No doubt about it. This is playing dirty. All right. So, thank you, Darko. I love when people come in and say, this is really good conversation, because that's what we do. That's why, no knock on other people out there. This is not a jab at anyone, but this is why we don't spam tons of 7-8 minute videos, because there's a lot of people that do that, and they make good content. Anytime I say anything behind a mic, though, it gets blown out of proportion. I know who you're talking about. I'm not talking about anybody. I'm just saying there's a lot of people, and that's what they do. We try to get to the dialogue behind it, so it's not posted and then someone come back and react to it. That's the difference between a forum or a video. Even when I love when you guys comment on videos, but obviously I'm not seeing it real time, and I do go back and read them. But I like the in-the-moment dialogue. I like you guys being in here up front and center and just getting the theories out there. So, if you guys want a little extra spoiler information, who wants a little extra spoiler information? If you do, I need you to pike the like button. Hit that like button. Once we get it over 120 likes, I'm going to give you some extra spoiler information that is not confirmed, but it is almost confirmed. All right? It is close. It's as close to confirmed as the information out there that Jesus is dying. All right, we see those numbers go up. I'll give you, because as we did the video yesterday, and for this purpose, I don't care if you like the video or dislike it. Just pike the button. Either one. Once we get to, I want to see that people are alive. I want to see there's some participation. If you don't like it, give it a thumbs down. But just pick a side here. Let's get this thing rolling. I'm going to give you some information that's probably going to hit you a little bit. Kind of like the Daryl scene yesterday. We talked about that sadness, except we're going to take it in a different direction. And why people are figuring that out, let me get to Scott Kernan's Super Chat. Thank you. The Super Chatters, the sponsors, the patrons, you guys are amazing. You keep this channel rocking and rolling and really make it so we can continue to advertise and grow. So just want to give a shout out to everybody. And also everybody's here that is participating in the comments. Love you guys. Thank you so much. Scott Kernan says, well, if Michonne kidnaps Lydia, Alpha will kill 12 people. Simple. Alpha is going to do some killing. So a few more likes, and I'm going to give you this almost confirmed spoiler information because we got a few more people logging in. And all right, we're going to move forward because I don't want to penalize everybody in the stream. So look at Pete D. Pete D showing up, showing a little bit of love. Pete D, I have to say this. This is just for you. How do you feel about Tara being in line to lead the hilltop if Jesus dies before Tara? Pete D. I mean, Tara is a prime decision maker. But she's not going to die. I said this, like, as many people bash Tara, she will be the last woman standing. When everyone's dead on The Walking Dead, it's going to be Tara. All right, so here's a little bit of what goes down. So I'm going to, as sad, because we hit the 120 likes. Thank you so much, everybody. Appreciate that. As sad as the news has been with, Daryl out there looking for Rick, I'm going to make you hate Alpha, okay? I'm going to make you despise her. This is how evil she is. So the spoiler rumor that Spoiling Dead's fan page put out there is that when Alpha goes up, and I think this is in 11 as well, Alpha will go up to Hilltop to negotiate a trade. Okay? And apparently, one of the Whisperers are there with her, has a baby. And it's attracting walkers. Apparently, Alpha instructs one of her own to leave the baby on the ground to be eaten and devoured by walkers. Sick woman. I mean, if that does not get you going right there. Leaves the baby for dead. I mean, that is... She will go down as by far the most brutal. They have to do it. I think we got a super chat here. TKBTM. If Jesus dies, could Daryl and Aaron be a couple? No. I don't think Daryl's gay. I think Daryl's just to himself. And I don't think Daryl's looking for a relationship. So I'm going to get back to this. We did this comparison the other day. The most brutal scene I've ever seen in Walking Dead history was between the governor and Michonne. I had a hard time reading it in the comic. I skipped over it. It bothered me. the level of abuse and helplessness that Michonne was under. There's nothing that I've ever read or seen in a TV show that was that. Negan was more vicious in the TV show than the governor because they wanted to play it up. And Scott Super Chat says, will be so satisfying when Negan beheads her. If it is Negan, yes, it would. If it takes the comic arc, but we're a ways away from that, right? So if we talk about the ends of what's going to go down, we are going to be led to hate Alpha like we've never hated anyone before. So leaving a baby. Now, the additional rumor, hold tight, is that Connie will save the baby. That Connie will be at Hilltop and Connie will save the baby. Now, this is not confirmed, okay? But if it happens, then you know it's Spoiling Dead has put it out there. But sometimes they put out really early stuff and it doesn't turn out that way. But for the most part, they're on the money. So I do see this happening. But the fact, it doesn't matter whether the baby lives or dies. It's the principle that to Alpha it was dead. So, I mean, for us it matters, right? But the fact that she left it, she was done with it. Scott says, not necessarily she dies before the Whisper War. So, I'm going to give you a little bit of additional information. Okay? Apparently, the first beheading, and I'm not sure how the context of this, whether it'll be Jesus or whether it be someone else. But for effect, is that Alpha will behead one of her own. And apparently Beta will hold down her boyfriend. And this is going to get brutal. Okay? We don't know what happened. But the rumor is that Alpha will behead one of her own. And her boyfriend is there. And Beta will hold him down and make him watch. They will pass the head around. I don't know how we can see this on TV, but maybe. To show everybody what happens. And then Alpha will brutally go over and stab the boyfriend after he watches it. So I'm just going to put those two things out there to let you know what we potentially could be seeing. Now, it doesn't have the same effect when it's one of her own. But when that'll start to prepare us for when it happens, let me say this. If that were Ezekiel, if that were Rosita, if that were Jerry, even Pete D, if that was Tara, I don't think we're going to like it. So if it's our own people, we're probably going to say, whoa, that was brutal, but you know what? It was one of our own people. It's still terrible. But when it does transition over to one of the characters that we've watched for 3 or 4 seasons, it's going to be impactful, it's going to be epic, it's going to be evil, it's going to be sick. So, also, just people that are typing in chat, and Ripley, I'm not going to allow that comment to show up, and I'll tell you why. There are things the TV show will not do, and we know there's things on the graphic novel And I'm also going to ask that you be careful with some of the comments in our streams. I don't want to get our streams flagged because we're just talking about something that happens with Alpha's young daughter and the Whispers. But if you type that in chat and YouTube has algorithms, be careful how you word stuff in streams. We know how it plays out, but how we type it out and YouTube's monitoring, you guys get what I'm saying. I don't want an innocent comment where somebody's just trying to tell people something turn into something that looks like we're doing something shady. But I think they're going to avoid that story arc. I really do. We mentioned that before, where we know there's some harassment going on. I think instead of doing that with Alpha, they're going to just add more evil and more killing. So Scott Kernan says, would it be more evil if she wore a character's skin? Scott, I think that is a very likely possibility. It's also rumored that Daryl may get the Negan comic arc, which is going to be a little weird because that's just a rumor. I would rather see it be Negan, but that Daryl could actually sneak in, take one of the dead Whispers walker suits. I just think there's more justification if Negan is the one that gets in and kind of hangs out with them, gets in, on the inside. But it could be Daryl. I mean, remember, Daryl doesn't even exist. Anything that Daryl does is like net new. There is no Daryl in the comics. So a lot of Rick's story, a lot of, whoever, they can just kind of pile it on. Scott, I think, yes. I think everything would be more controversial in 7-1. One, I mean, the fact that there are things that happened in the comic that I'm not going to talk about in the stream, and I know if we're not going to talk about on YouTube, that television is not going to do it, and I don't even think they're going to overly imply it. They were careful with how they handled Davey from and his interactions with Sasha. They walked fairly gingerly on that topic as well. But, you saw they avoided a lot with the governor. They avoided a lot with some of Negan's men, and they're definitely going to avoid that storyline with on AMC. But they will make it controversial because I do think there's a lot of controversy in wearing someone's face. I mean, I think that if we see someone walking around with Jerry's face, ugh. I mean, just some of the features. Amy, I'm catching a super chat. Does anyone know the thing that happened is? I'm not sure which thing we're referring to. Keep in mind, I'll see some of the super chats, but there's sometimes even in the super chats that I'm a little lost because it could be something that I made a comment on a couple minutes ago or in comment to someone else. But as I said, just we got to tread lightly on what we discuss. I mean, I will probably do comic breakdowns. But you know what? I got one more question for everybody, because this is not. Hang on, I'm going to catch up with this. Give me a second, everybody. I'm going to read chat a little bit. Let me put it this way, Amy. Alpha, and I'm going to say this to be the most politically correct and just not be lewd about it. Alpha has a very young daughter. Maybe at the time, 6, 8, 10. It's implied, or not even implied, that she was available to the Whisperers. You can do your reasoning in that, and I don't mean to sing songs. So leave it at that. Figure it out. Scott Kernan, could it hurt the show in viewership like 701? I think the fans are the fans. I don't think viewership is going to be hurt at this point. I think the people that left The Walking Dead, Scott, they're gone. People know the story. I think you'd have to kill Daryl to lose a whole lot of fans at this point. I think people are watching for the story. They're waiting on, the Rick movie. So I'm not worried about 1 million fans bolting. I think whatever's happened. I think anything they do with Alpha is going to be a strong pull, because I think that she's a very polarizing character, that it's going to split the audience. There's some people who are going to like the evil. There's some people that are going to hate her. And I think you're going to get more people that hate her and will just want to see somebody kill her. But just prepare. And that's why I don't think they're going to tell that side of the story. I think they're going to tell a complete evil side of her story. So we are going to wind this down because we're at 32 minutes. These Saturday streams are not going to be super long. We will be back tomorrow at 12. We will also be back at 8 o'clock doing our Walking Dead countdown. We're also going to be at 10:20 doing our reaction video, and 9:30 every night next week, probably except for Thanksgiving, but I'll give you guys an update. Maybe we'll do a Thanksgiving daytime stream, something. I don't want to pull everybody away from their families, but maybe we'll get together. So I want to thank everybody for being here. You guys are absolutely amazing. One of the things that I am going to do is I don't want to read the full comics, but in a week or so, I'm going to get back into breaking down the comics. So instead of reading line by line and imitating the characters, I'm probably just going to do a 6 or 7 minute recap and just sort of flip through the pages and say, hey, this is what goes on, give you the general theme. But there's a lot of people have been requesting that. But I think I'm just going to, if I do it that way, it'll allow me to do it a little bit quicker. So thanks, everybody. Appreciate everybody being here. You guys are absolutely awesome. Special shout out for all the Patreons and all the sponsors, the moderators, Emmy, Steph, Tommy, Kells, and of course all the super chatters. Thank you so much. Everything that you guys do just helps this channel grow faster. Anything that you guys do on Patreon, super chats, and everything, we roll almost all of it back into advertising so we can reach more people, get more dialogue, get all of those things out there. So thank you. Appreciate everything and making a little bit of time for us, all your involvement, all your interactions, and hopefully, today we got to jump around, get a few more thoughts and a few more ideas. One of the things that I am going to try to do is definitely get more of your thoughts in the video. I just have an agenda sometime where I got bullet point A, B, C, and D, and but if I don't, I always go back and read the comments. So thank you so much, everybody. Have a wonderful afternoon. I'll see everybody at noon tomorrow. Peace.